people want to play old games and have the same experience that they had with the old game.
They want to have the same experience as they did with the old game. This is a very tricky thing to do. And the reason is that we get accustomed to new technologies. And it's very hard to come back to how they were in the first place. When people played Final Fantasy VII originally, back when it came out, it was extremely graphically impressive at the time compared to other games from that area. All right? So back in the day, when you were a wee little kid or an adult, whatever, whichever age you were back then, and you played this game for the first time, your foot of measurement was comparing it to all of the other games of that era, of that time, and you compared it like oranges to oranges. I think that's how you say it. So you looked at Final Fantasy VII and you looked at other games of this exact amount of like that time, and you said, ooh, this game has such an impressive graphics. It's so damn realistic and so damn immersive. So back at the day, you experienced Final Fantasy VII as if you were to experience it today with the remake. And that is very hard to explain the point, and I'm trying to get across, but I'll try to do it justice. So today, if Final Fantasy VII were to come out with the same old graphics that the original one has, and you, as a new person who never experienced Final Fantasy VII, were to give it a try, you would not have the same experience as the person who played the same game. Like, if you take, like, shit, it's very hard to put it into words. If you give a kid, let's say 12 years old kid, I don't know if there is like, what is the minimum age of playing 7? I think 7 is E for everyone. So let's say that you are a 12 years old kid today, and you were to play the original Final Fantasy VII. If you compare it to the same 12 years old kid who played Final Fantasy VII back in the day when it came out, the experience of both of these kids will not be identical. The game haven't changed. The kid is the same years old, but the expectation and the data that kid has in his mind of how games are supposed to be experienced is completely different. Therefore, I think that the child who played the original Final Fantasy VII back in the day, he experienced it. Wow, this game is so amazing. It has such modern graphics and it's so damn immersive. This is the best thing in the world. And if the same 12 years old kid that was born in our generation, in the new generation, with today's games, were to play the same game, he would say, oh my god, this game looks so old and clunky. It barely moves, the face expressions are horrible, the sound design is horrible, everything is shit. And you, as an old ass man who used to play this game in the past, you will probably get offended. You will, how dare you call Final Fantasy VII an old and ugly game? This is a masterpiece. Kids, they don't understand the experience of playing such an amazing classic. But he will be wrong, because the feet of measurement, I don't know, the scale, yeah, the scale of measurement that old guy is using and today's 12 years old kid is using are completely different, because how we experience games is not in a vacuum. We experience game with our how do you say it? With perceived, I don't know, how do you say it? So I think you get it. We have memories of experiences of different games and people around us and everything of how a game should feel, how it should look, the quality and everything of it today. And this is the same scale of measurement we use when we judge new games. See? So I think I got my point across. So for today's 12-year-old kid to have the same magical experience that you as an old ass guy had back then, they should judge it by today's scales of how games are produced. Then you can have similar kind of experience. So yeah, it was hard, but I think that I got my point across. So you cannot, because you're not aiming to make the game for old people. Of course you want devote all fans to play the new Final Fantasy VII. Of course you do. You want them to re-experience the game. But this is not your main target. Your main target is new generation. You want the new generation to have the same magical experience that people back at the day used to have when they played the original Final Fantasy VII. In order to do that, you need to create a new game with new gameplay and new mechanics. It's impossible to escape this kind of thing. This is, unfortunately, this is the reality of stuff. We don't judge stuff inside of a vacuum. We judge stuff based on how we experience stuff in today's current times. So that is it. I think that if you want to breathe new life into an old game, you do need to remake it. So now you guys might be saying, oh, Bacon, you're contradicting yourself. You told us earlier about how Lion King facial movement is realistic, therefore they're not moving their face and you hate it. That's right, I hate it. But it doesn't mean that the movie itself is completely shit. You can make it photorealistic, but just don't make the faces photorealistic. Don't make the body movement photorealistic, because the expressions and the movement, they are key to us experiencing emotion, to us experiencing the game in a good way. This is the point I'm trying to get across, is that you do need to modernize a game. You do need to put it up to the standards of today's game, but you can do it while paying respect and not removing the magic of the original. So this is a very delicate line to find between how do you modernize something and keep the soul inside of it and merge them together. This is how you create a remake. And this is a very hard thing to do. Like, I'm talking about it, but if you were to give me to do it, oh man, that would be a hard job that I don't know if I can even pull off. So yeah, that's the point I'm trying to get across.